AWS SysOps Exam/certification quick notes. 3/3. By Cloud Dev. Date, April 28, 2020. Welcome to session number 3, last session of the series. Hope last 2 sessions were useful to you. STS, Security Token Service. Grants users limited and temporary access to AWS resources. Users can come from 3 different sources. Federation, Active Directory. Uses Security Assertion Markup Language, SAML. Grants temporary access based off HTE users' AD credentials. Does not need to be an IAM user. Single sign-on allows users to log into the AWS console without assigning IAM credentials. Federation with mobile apps. Use Facebook, Amazon, Google, or other OpenID providers to log in. Cross-account access. Lets users from one AWS account access to resources in another AWS account. Federation, combining or joining a list of users in one domain with a list of users in another domain, Active Directory-and GTIM for example. Identity Broker, a service that allows you to take an identity from domain A and join it, feed-rate it, to domain B. Identity Store, services like Active Directory, Facebook, Google, Amazon, etc. Identities, the user of a service like Amazon, Facebook, Google, etc. Steps of authentication. User enters username/password. Application calls an identity broker. The broker is passed the username/password. The identity broker uses the organization's centralized authentication to validate the identity of the user, think Active Directory. The identity broker then calls the NuGet Federation token function using IAM credentials. The call must include an IAM policy and duration, 1 to 36 hours, along with a policy that specifies the permissions to be granted to the temporary security credentials. STS confirms that the policy of the user making the call gives permission to create new tokens and then returns 4 values. Access key. Secret access key. Token. Duration of token. Identity broker returns the temporary security credentials to the requesting application. The requesting application uses the temporary security credentials and token to make requests to Amazon. Amazon uses IAM to verify that the credentials allow the requested operation on the given service using the given key. IAM provides the service with the allowed action to perform the requested operation. Steps in simplicity. Develop an identity broker to communicate with LDAP and AWS STS. Identity broker should always authenticate with LDAP first, then the STS service. Application gets temporary access to AWS resources. Route 53. DNS. DNS or domain name system is used to convert human-friendly domain names into IP addresses. 2 types of IP addresses. IPv4. 32-bit address. 4 billion different addresses, 4,294,967,296. IPv6. Created to solve depletion issue of IPv4 address space. 128-bit address. 340 undecillion addresses, 340,282,366,920,938,463,374,634,768,211,456. Top-level domains, signified by the last word in a domain name. .com, .edu, .gov, .net, .io, etc. Controlled by the Internet Assigned Numbers Authority, IANA. Stored in a root zone database, which is a database of all available TLDs, top-level domains. Database can be found at http://www.iana.org/domain/root/db. Domain names. All names in a given domain name have to be unique. DNS registrars are authorities that can assign domain names directly under one or more TLDs. Domains are registered with Internic, as service of ICANN, which enforces uniqueness of domain names across the Internet. Each domain name becomes registered in a central database known as the WHOIS database. Popular domain registrars include GoDaddy.com, Namecheap.com, Route 53, etc. SOA, Start of Authority, Record Store Information About. Name of the server that supplied the data for the zone. Administrator of the zone. Current version of the data file. Number of seconds a secondary name server should wait before checking for updates. Number of seconds a secondary name server should wait before retrying a failed domain transfer. Maximum number of seconds that a secondary name server can use data before it must either be refreshed or expired. Default number of seconds for the TTL, time to live, on resource records. DNS record types. NS or name server records are used by TLDs to direct traffic to the content DNS server, which contains the authoritative DNS records. A or address records are used by a computer to translate the name of the domain to an IP address. Names or canonical names can be used to resolve one domain name to another. Names can't be used for naked domain names, zone apex. As such, AWS must be either in a record or an alias record. Alias records are used to map resource record sets in your hosted zone to ELBs, CloudFront distributions, or S3 buckets that are configured as websites. Alias records work like name records in that you can map one DNS name to another target DNS name. Alias records can save time because Route 53 automatically recognizes changes in the record set that the alias resource record set refers to. You are not charged for requests to alias records, you are charged for requests to names, so using alias records is cheaper. TTL or time to live is the length that a DNS record is cached on either the resolving server or the user's local PC. The lower the TTL, the faster changes to DNS records take to propagate throughout the internet. ELBs do not have a predefined IPv4 address, DNS names are used for ELB resolution. Understand the difference between an alias record and a name. Always use an alias record over a name where possible, as it's cheaper and faster. Route 53 routing policies. Simple. Default routing policy when you create a new record set. Most commonly used when you have a single resource that performs a given function for your domain. Example would be a single web server that serves content for a single domain name. Weighted. Used to route traffic to multiple resources in proportions that you specify. Split traffic based on different weights assigned within the record set. Example would be sending 10% of user traffic to US East 1 and the other 90% to US East 2. Latency. Use when you have resources in multiple locations and you want to route traffic to the resource that provides the least latency. Route traffic based on lowest network latency for your end users, such as sending requests to the region that will give the user the fastest response time. Create a resource record set for EC2 or ELB resources in each region that hosts your content. When Route 53 receives a request for your content, it selects the latency resource record for the region that gives the user the lowest latency. Failover. Use when you want to configure active-passive failover. Example would be when you want your primary site to be in US East 1, and a DR site in US West 1. Route 53 will monitor the health of our primary site using a health check. Health checks are not automatic and must be configured by the user. Geolocation. Use when you want to route traffic based on the location of your users. Example would be ensuring that EU customers get routed to servers residing in the EU, and ensuring US customers get routed to servers residing in the US. VPCs and Direct Connect. VPCs lets you provision a logically isolated section of the AWS cloud where you can launch AWS resources in a virtual network that you define. You have complete control over your virtual networking, IP ranges, creation of subnets and configuration of route tables and network gateways. Virtual data center in the cloud. Allowed up to 5 VPCs in each AWS region by default. This limit can be increased with a support ticket request. All subnets in default VPC have an internet gateway attached. Multiple IGWs can be created, but only a single IGW can be attached to a VPC. No exceptions. Again, you can only have one internet gateway per VPC. Each EC2 instance has both a public and private IP address. If you delete the default VPC, the only way to get it back is to submit a support ticket. This answer is correct for the current iteration of tests, however AWS has now created a mechanism in the console that allows you to recreate a default VPC. By default, when you create a VPC, a default main routing table automatically gets created as well. Subnets are always mapped to a single AZ. Subnets cannot be mapped to multiple AZs. /16 is the largest CIDR block available when provisioning an IP space for a VPC. /28 is the smallest CIDR block available when provisioning an IP space for a VPC. Amazon uses 3 of the available IP addresses in a newly created subnet. OX.X.X.0, always subnet network address and is never usable. OX.X.X.1, reserved by AWS for the VPC router. OX.X.X.2, reserved by AWS for subnet DNS. OX.X.X.3, reserved by AWS for future use. OX.X.X.255, always subnet broadcast address and is never usable. 169.254.169.253, Amazon DNS. By default, all traffic between subnets is allowed. By default, not all subnets have access to the internet. Either an internet gateway or NAT gateway is required for private subnets. A security group can stretch across different AZs. Security groups are stateful, don't need to open inbound and outbound. If inbound is allowed, outbound is auto-allowed. Network access control lists, NACLs, are stateless, must define both inbound and outbound rules. You can also create hardware virtual private network, VPN, connection between your corporate data center and your VPC and leverage the AWS cloud as an extension of your corporate data center. VPC flow logs. VPC flow logs is a feature that enables the user to capture information about the IP traffic going to and from network interfaces in your VPC. Flow log data is stored using CloudWatch logs. When flow log data is collected, it can be viewed and its data can be retrieved within CloudWatch. Flow logs can be created at 3 different levels: VPC, subnet, and network interface levels. Flow logs via CloudWatch can be configured to stream to services such as Elastic or Lambda. You cannot enable flow logs for VPCs that are peered with your VPC unless the peer VPC is in your account. You cannot tag a flow log. After you have created a flow log, you cannot change its configuration. For example, you cannot associate a different role with the flow log. Not all traffic is monitored. Traffic generated by instances when they contact Route 53 is not monitored or logged. If you use your own DNS server, then all traffic to that DNS server is logged. Traffic generated by a Windows instance for Windows license activation is not monitored or logged. Traffic to and from the metadata service, 169.254.169.254, is not monitored or logged. DHCP traffic is not monitored or logged. Traffic to the reserved IP address for the default VPC router is not monitored or logged. Network address translation, NAT, instances. When creating a NAT instance, disable source/destination checks on the instance or you could encounter issues. NAT instances must be in a public subnet. There must be a route out of the private subnet to the NAT instance in order for it to work. The amount of traffic that NAT instances support depend on the size of the NAT instance. If bottlenecked, increase the instance size. If you are experiencing any sort of bottleneck issues with a NAT instance, then increase the instance size. OHA can be achieved by using auto-scaling groups, or multiple subnets in different AZs with a scripted failover procedure. NAT instances are always behind a security group. Network address translation, NAT, gateway. NAT gateways scale automatically up to 10 Gbps. There is no need to patch NAT gateways as the AMI is handled by AWS. NAT gateways are automatically assigned a public IP address. When a new NAT gateway has been created, remember to update your route table. No need to assign a security group. NAT gateways are not associated with security groups. Preferred in the enterprise. No need to disable source/destination checks. More secure than a NAT instance. Network access control lists, NACLs. NACLs are stateless, meaning both inbound and outbound rules must be configured for traditional request/response model. Numbered list of rules that are evaluated in order starting at the lowest numbered rule first to determine what traffic is allowed in or out depending on what subnet is associated with the rule. The highest rule number is 32,766. Start with rules starting at 100 so you can insert rules if needed. NACLs have separate inbound and outbound rules, and each rule can either allow or deny traffic. The default NACL will allow all traffic in and out by default. Custom NACLs by default will deny all inbound and outbound traffic until allow rules are added. You must assign a NACL to each subnet. If a subnet is not associated with the NACL, it will allow no traffic in or out. NACL rules are stateless, established in does not create outbound rule automatically. You can only assign a single subnet to a single NACL. When you associate a NACL with a subnet, any previous associations are removed. You can associate a single NACL with multiple subnets. Each subnet in your VPC must be associated with a NACL. If you don't explicitly associate a subnet with an ACL, the subnet automatically gets associated with the default ACL. You can block IP addresses using NACLs, not security groups. VPC peering. Connection between two VPCs that enables you to route traffic between them using private IP addresses via a direct network route. Instances in either VPC can communicate with each other as if they are within the same network. You can create VPC peering connections between your own VPCs or with a VPC in another account within a single region. AWS uses existing infrastructure of a VPC to create a VPC peering connection. It is not a gateway nor a VPN, and does not rely on separate hardware. There is no single point of failure for communication nor any bandwidth bottleneck. There is no transitive peering between VPC peers, can't go through one VPC to get to another. Hub and spoke configuration model, 1-to-1. Be mindful of IPs in each VPC. If multiple VPCs have the same IP blocks, they will not be able to communicate. You can peer VPCs with other AWS accounts as well as with other VPCs in the same account. VPC endpoints. Allows internal resources such as EC2 instances to reach various AWS services without having to traverse the public internet to get to the service. When you use an endpoint, The source IP address from your instances in your affected subnets for access the AWS service in the same region will use private IP addresses instead of public IP addresses. When configuring VPC endpoints, existing connections from your affected subnets to the AWS service that use public IP addresses may be dropped. Direct Connect, DX. DX or Direct Connect makes it easy to establish a dedicated network connection from your premises to AWS. Using DX, you can establish private connectivity between AWS and your data center, office, or colocation environment. Requires a dedicated line such as MPLS, or other circuit ran from telco. From this line, you would have a cross-connect from your on-premises device direct to AWS data centers. Using DX can reduce network costs, increase bandwidth throughput and provide a more consistent network experience than internet-based connections. Lets you establish a dedicated network connection between your network and one of the AWS DX locations. Uses industry standard 802.1 QVLANs. Dedicated connections can be partitioned into multiple virtual interfaces. Same connection can be used to access public resources such as objects stored in S3 using public IPs and private resources such as EC2 instances running in a VPC using private IPs, all while maintaining network separation between the public and private environments. Virtual interfaces can be reconfigured at any time to meet changing needs. Offers more bandwidth and a more consistent network experience over using VPN-based solutions. VPC VPN connections utilize IPsec to establish encrypted network connectivity between your intranet and your AWS VPC over the internet. VPN connections can be configured in minutes and are a good solution if you have an immediate need. DX does not involve the internet, instead, it uses dedicated private network connections between your intranet and AWS VPC. Note from book. Chapter 1. System Operator, Responsibility, to keep application environment running at maximum performance at all times. Helps users for day-to-day job. Deploying systems, install common, off-the-shelf packages on instances. Monitoring systems, might have monitoring wall that displays health is important system. Fully automated alert function that responds to change in behavior, repairing or replacing failing parts and keeping you informed. Optimizing system, optimizing performance with correct infrastructure configuration, the optimal storage methods and the possible customer outcome. Maintain highly available system, automatic switchover during failure, replacing/restoring failed component without customer impact. Securing system, secure system using security group, ACL, VPC, CloudFront, AWS Shield, Inspector, WAF, IAM, CloudWatch, CloudTrail. Threat doesn't always come from outside. AWS has 105 unique services, 12 SEP 2019, 137 in 23 categories. 3-tier architecture. Web tier, accepts request from user. Security is most important for this layer. No access to DB directly. Application tier, middleware. Business logic resides in this layer. It interacts with web and DB layer. Database tier, this backend tier. Public elastic load balancing, the only security group that allows full public access. Web tier Amazon EC2, this accepts traffic only from public elastic load balancing. Private elastic load balancing, this accepts traffic only from web tier Amazon EC2. Application tier Amazon EC2, this accepts traffic only from private elastic load balancing. Amazon Elasticate, this accepts traffic only from application tier Amazon EC2. Amazon Relational Database Service, Amazon RDS, this accepts traffic only from application tier Amazon EC2. Network Address Translation, NAT, this is used only for internally initiated outbound traffic. Database, Amazon takes care on infrastructure and DBA take care schema and data. DynamoDB, NoSQL engine optimized for low latency, high availability, strong consistency read and writes, operates at regional level through API access only. Storage. Amazon EBS, durable, persistent block storage, boot volumes, and data volumes. Ephemeral, temporary data storage, local storage. Speed, persistent, and cost. S3, highly cost-effective, massively durable web-enabled storage, secure storage. User management. Authentication mechanism, passwords, access keys, and so on. Integration with AD. Security, monitoring, and deployment. Security, inspector, VPC flow, CloudWatch logs. Monitoring, CloudWatch. Who made the API call? When API call made? Where API call originated? The result of API call. Edge locations, AWS Lambda at edge locations, CloudFront, Amazon Route 53, AWS Shield, AWS WAF. Reference architecture, the serverless design. Networking, AWS Lambda functions runs in their own Amazon VPC. VPC peering exists in VPC. Security and authentication. Lambda functions must authenticate at two different levels. 1 SSH level 2. Query level. Secure method. The secret key is encrypted using the AWS KMS and stored in S3. Lambda functions retrieve the key from S3 and decrypt. You must update the IAM policy associated with the AWS Lambda function. EG62. Allow user to access private key in S3. Allow user to decrypt key. Write and test policy for it. Products in serverless application. AWS Lambda. AWS Lambda at Edge. AWS KMS. Amazon S3. Amazon API Gateway. Amazon Kinesis. Amazon SQS. Amazon SNS. Amazon SES. Amazon WAF. Amazon Shield. Amazon. Chapter 2 Working with AWS Cloud Services. AWS Console. AWS CLI. Need AWS Access Key ID, AWS Secret Access Key, Default Region, Default Output Format. Command, AWS Configure. Credential Store in 1. /.aws/credentials for Mac and Linux. 2. Windows, %user profile %\_.aws/config. Sets AWS_access_key_ID AGIAS 7 example. Sets AWS_secret_access_key WJAL Rexut on FEMI/K7//BPXRFICYEXAMPLEKEY. Sets AWS_default_region AP South 1. AWS SDK. AWS tools for Windows PowerShell. AWS SDK for Python, also known as Botto. 3. Available in GitHub. Feature of Botto. https://botto3.readthedocs.io/n/latest/guide/clients.html. Waiter allows you wait till output comes out from command. Once you get output, rest of code proceeds. Multithreading support available. Exercise 2.1. 2.2, EG89. Chapter 3, Security and AWS IAM. Employee access is as on need basis. Fire detection and suppression, automatic system installed. Uses smoke detection. All places in IDC like IDC environments, mechanical and electrical space, chiller rooms, generator equipment rooms, UPS room. Power, designed for fully redundant system. Storage device decommissioning, process followed as per recommendation. Process designed to avoid any type leakage/misuse of customer data. Business continuity management. Availability, all application is deployed in N+1 mode. In case of one AZ goes down, AWS is planned for sufficient bandwidth and other capacity. Incident response, 24*7*365 days. Communication, various internal communication channel is implemented. AWS Service Health Dashboard is available to users always. AWS Security Center is available to help customer with security and compliance help. Customer can subscribe proactive alerts for business impacting issues. Network security. Firewall, ACLs. Secure access points, API endpoints, IPS 140-2 compliant. Transmission protection, SSL that protects from eavesdropping, tampering, and message forgery. VPN, VPC, Direct Connect. Network monitoring and protection. DDoS attacks, protects all endpoints. Man-in-middle attacks, SSL API protection. IP spoofing, EC2 can't send spoof network traffic. Port scanning, unauthorized port scanning is violation of AWS policy. Unauthorized scanning is stopped and blocked. Packet sniffing by other tenants, hypervisor will not deliver any traffic to other co-hosted instance. Encrypt sensitive network traffic with appropriate technology. Customer must take approval for any port scanning from AWS Help Desk. User password management options. Use CloudTrail to monitor logins. Access key comprise two components, access key ID, secret access key. Each user can has two access keys. User can given permission to list, rotate, and manage their own keys. MFA. Hardware devices. Virtual MFS applications, such as Google Authenticator. SMS can be used for MFA with as AWS account. IAM group. No group exists in IAM. Group cannot be nested. Group within group does not exist. IAM policies. Least privilege strategy to apply. It is easy to loosen permissions then tighten them implementing. IAM policy consists main 4 elements. Acronyms. Effect. Resource. Conditions, optional. 2 type of IAM policies. Managed policies. Can be customer and AWS managed. Standalone policies that are attached to multiple users, groups, and roles. Managed policies has features like reusability, central change management, versioning and rollback, ability to delegate permissions management to other users. Inline policy is embedded in a principal entity such as user, group, or role. IAM roles. Temporary user credential. User credential as static credential. Never use user credential into software. IAM roles are used to delegate access to AWS resource. IAM roles do not have a username or password associated with them. They have following things associated with them. 4 things. Access key ID. Secret access key. Token. Duration. Amazon CloudFront key pairs can be used by root users only. X.509 certificate used in SOAP-based request. AWS KMS service security. AMS provides a simple interface that can be used to generate and manage cryptographic keys and operates as cryptographic service provider for protecting data. EG 120. AWS KMS security. AWS KMS provides a simple web interface in the AWS Management Console, CLI and RESTful APIs to access an elastic, multi-tenant, hardened security appliance. You established your own HSA-based cryptographic context under your master keys. You can create master keys identified by key ID. You can create key policy who can manage control keys. AMS meets following requirement. Durability, data encrypted under a key becomes irretrievable if the key is lost. Quorum-based access, no single employee can gain access to CMKs. No mechanism to export plain text CMKs. Access control, controlled using policies. Low latency and high throughput. Regional independence. Secure source of random numbers. Audit, can track using CloudTrail. Has access also based on public and private key-based. AWS Cloud HSM security. Appliances are designed to store and process cryptographic key material securely. Digital right management, public key infrastructure. They support encryption mechanism. You can't extract your key nor AWS use your keys for any purpose. HSM detect physical tampering. After 3 unsuccessful attempt HSM deleted HSM partition. AWS CloudTrail. Logs every API request. Every 5 minutes. Logging in central east location. By default, log file stored securely. You can also monitor logs file near real time. VPC flow logs. CloudWatch, pattern filtering is used for real-time analysis. AWS config. Record configuration. It can use to retrieve config at particular time. AWS config can issue notification for change in config. Use case. Resource discovery. Troubleshooting. Change management. Audit compliance. Security analysis. As pre-built rules. You can also have your own rules. AWS config can trigger evaluation of some change happen. Amazon Inspector. Authorized security assessment tool. Automatically accesses application for vulnerabilities or deviation from best practice. Has hundreds of rules. AWS Certificate Manager. Allow you to PROVISN, manage, and deploy SSL/TLS certificate for use with cloud services. Install certificate in ELB, CloudFront. Certificate renewal is handled by CM. AWS WAF. Helps protect web applications from attacks. Configure rules that allow, block, or monitor, count, web requests based on conditions that you define. These conditions include IP addresses, HTTP headers, HTTP body, Uniform Resource Identifier, URI, strings, SQL injection, and cross-site scripting. AWS Trusted Advisor. Trusted Advisor inspects your environment and make recommendations. Or save money, improve system performance or security gaps. EBS. 1 GB to 16 TB. Snapshot complete block level. ELB. HTTPS. Architecture. Amazon CloudFront security. There is no guarantee of durability of data held in Amazon CloudFront edge locations. Supports geo-restriction. Supports 1 or more origin servers. For download access, use pre-signed URL. Create policy to allow request based on S3 access logs. Chapter 4. Chapter 5. Chapter 6. Chapter 7. Chapter 8. Chapter 9. Chapter 10, High Availability. Summary. With this notes, we have reached to end this session. I have tried to keep content accurate, but in case of doubt I request you to refer AWS documentation. I hope this document will be useful to preparation of your certification. I will all the best for your exam. Thanks and bye-bye from Mahendra Rajagud.